Officially football season. Football is back. NFL is starting maybe this week. But college football has returned, which I'm up for. Yeah, let's get into it. So just yesterday we had Florida State versus Georgia Tech. This game was played over in Ireland. If you don't know, week zero. It's technically week zero. The week one's not till next week, but week zero is usually always played over in Ireland. Last year was Notre Dame, maybe. Notre Dame obviously won that game. But this year it was Florida State, Georgia Tech, and Florida State was 10th ranked. If you watched college football last year, you know everything surrounding Florida State, so to speak, undefeated, and they were left out of the college football playoffs. Got snubbed, played Georgia in a bowl game, and got absolutely smacked Georgia. Um, a lot of Florida State fans said, "Oh, we didn't have a whole team and whatnot," which yes, it's true to an extent, but you guys wanted to be in the college football playoffs, yet you can hold your own against Georgia, and Georgia is good. I'm not going to say that they're not good. They were pretty good last year, but they did not play up to the expectation as they should. They were definitely a lot better, and last year they were not that good. But Florida State being undefeated and thinking they should have got it into the college football playoff, just letting Georgia smack the crap out of them did not help their case whatsoever. And this first week did not help their case whatsoever either, as Georgia Tech got the upset and won 24-21. Excuse me. I did watch that game. It was a very good game. Georgia Tech looks pretty good this year, and Florida State just does not. I don't know what it is, but they could not. From what I saw, they could not basketball. I know it was DJ Ugu. I'm just trying to say his last name, but the original DJ played for Clemson, transferred to Florida State first start. A lot of nerves, but there's no excuse for DJ performance yesterday. It showed. I mean, Georgia Tech got the better of Florida State. Florida State fans can make all the excuse in the world for why they did not play good, but they could have played a lot better. I think a lot of people expected them to play a lot better, just because it's Florida State. Like Georgia Tech has not been that good in the past years. They should have smacked the crap out of Georgia Tech, but they didn't. So sad to see if you're a Florida State fan, but I hate to say it, but I think Florida State's chances of making the college football playoff this year is slim. So a lot of the season left to be played. It's only week one for them, but they got to make it up real quick. I personally think they cannot lose another game. They have to win out, and they have to win the ACC. But I don't see that happening because they got to go into South Bend in November and play Notre Dame night game 2 in South Bend. That's never fun to do. But yeah, also it is the first year for this 12-team playoff bracket for college football. Extends the college football season just a little bit longer, gives more teams shots at getting in and competing for a national title. I think it will be good. A lot of people like the four teams better, but it kind of got boring. It just seemed to be the same exact 4 teams every year. Bama, Georgia, Ohio State. There was always that third spot was always a toss up of who it was, but they just got tired of seeing the same teams go there, the same teams win. Like Georgia got back to back. Bama went on a run for quite some time, and it's just tired. I'm tired of seeing that happen. So I think this 12-team playoff will really help. Just like getting new teams in there, getting possible upsets. And yeah, I'm excited for this. I don't know how everyone else feels, but I personally cannot wait for this 12 team just to see how it plays. But yeah, but as I said earlier, yesterday is technically week 0. Week 1 starts this Saturday. some notable games is number 14 Clemson versus number 1 Georgia. Um, Sorry about this. I'm trying to see where they're playing. Pretty sure it's a neutral site game. Um, I'm pretty sure it's like that Chick-fil-A kickoff. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. It could be in Georgia, but I'm pretty sure it is neutral site. Yeah, it will be played. Okay, it's technically a home game for Georgia because it's being played at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. If you don't know where that is in Atlanta. But it's the Aflac kickoff game, so it's supposed to be a neutral site, but it's not for Georgia. It's gonna be a home game for Georgia. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Georgia back on top, being one. I don't know if I agree with this. With Georgia being number one, as I said earlier, they did not play bad last year. They just did not play good. Like they did not play how they've been playing in the past couple of years. Putting them on at number one is kind of crazy to me, but I'm not surprised they're number one. Clemson at 14, I thought was very kind of generous from being ranked 14th. So pretty generous from Clemson, especially after they just had. But yeah, I'm just gonna go through the AP top 25 so far. So number one, obviously we have Georgia. Number two is Ohio State. Number three is Oregon. Number four is Texas. Fifth is Alabama. Sixth is Ole Miss, which I'm surprised about Ole Miss. I feel like they're always ranked somewhat good at the start of the year, and they just don't live up to the expectation per se. Number seven is Notre Dame. Number eight, Penn State. Number nine is Michigan. And number 10 is Florida State. That will change once the second ranking comes out. I mean, looking at this top 10, it's, I don't know. I mean, Oregon at 3, okay, they could be good this year. They could be not. They're always, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. I do like Texas at 4. I would probably put them at 3 just because of the year they had last year. But I don't think it has to do with how well they performed last year. I think it's about how well like their team looks this year. I guess if that makes sense. So I guess having Oregon and Georgia at 1 and 3 is good because they're probably. I know Georgia's going to have good players. I know Oregon will too. Bama at 5, not surprising after Nick Saban retired. Kind of lost some recruits, but we'll see how their year goes. Ole Miss at 6, I already said, could end up being top 10 team. Probably won't be just because they're in the SEC and SEC's a hard conference to be in. But it would be surprised if Ole Miss finishes top 10. Notre Dame at number 7. I've got a lot of controversy about Notre Dame being 7. It's the exact same thing from everyone. Like all comments, you go to a comment section about Notre Dame being 7. They don't deserve this. They're the most overrated team in college football. I don't know why they always put them top 10 just for them to be mediocre. And I don't agree with that at all. Notre Dame plays up to the expectations as they should play. Yes, not every year is pretty, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm always going to be a bit biased. But come on, you can say the same exact thing. States. Ohio State always gets put at 1 or 2 start of the season. And yes, do they maintain that in the majority of the year? Yes, they maintain that top 4, top 5 spot. But they haven't beat Michigan in 3 years. They haven't won a Big Ten conference in 3 years. And yet every year they somehow manage to barely either one, make it into the college football playoffs or barely miss it. And they haven't won a conference championship in 3 years. And they can't beat Michigan. Haven't beat Michigan in 3 years. I think last year was the first year that the Ohio State Michigan was somewhat close. Somewhat close. The first year they lost, and in the shoe, I'm pretty sure either in the shoe or at Michigan. I'm pretty sure it was in the shoe. They let Michigan come in and smack them around on their home field. On their home field, they let them come in and smack them around. And the next year, same thing happened. Went to Ann Arbor. Guess what happened? They got smacked in Ann Arbor. I mean, I'm pretty sure this past year was pretty close. It was a closer matchup, closer game, but Ohio State still lost. That's three consecutive years of them not winning, of them not winning their conference or being the biggest rivals. And yet they still somehow always make it to the college football playoffs. And no one wants to talk about how much they overhype their team each year. Oh, we got this big recruit. Oh, we got this big recruit. It does not matter if you cannot use it. I've talked to so many Ohio State fans. Some of them agree that Ryan Day needs to go. And maybe he does. After that Missouri game, losing to Missouri in that bowl game last year, maybe it wasn't, what's his face's fault? The quarterback last year that no one liked. Maybe it's not his fault. Maybe it's Ryan Day. Ryan Day gets all these recruits, but they suck. They're not that good this year. They can't win big games. Maybe this year they'll prove me wrong and they'll actually beat Michigan and win a Big Ten. But they haven't done that in the past 2 years. And you're telling me, in the year they got smacked up in Michigan, telling me they had a chance to beat Georgia to go to the playoffs and they still couldn't. They missed a field goal. Easy field goal, by the way. I'm not a field goal kicker. I'm not saying I would make it. But if I dedicated my life to kicking and I was in that situation, I'm pretty sure I'm 9 times out of 10 making that field goal. And 9 times out of 10, that kicker is probably making that field goal. But he missed. Okay? One loss to Michigan, their biggest rival ever, does not go to the Big Ten championship, but they still get a spot in the college football playoffs. Come on, that's not what makes sense. And this 12 team playoff will change that. But I mean, you want to talk about Notre Dame being overrated? Yeah, they put us top 10 every year because we're good enough for top 10. Do we perform it? Not all the time. Okay, last year was a bit of a hard year to watch. Losing against Louisville, a couple close games. Okay, and I personally understand where they're coming from, but we gotta stop with this over. Okay, because at times we went to the playoffs, we faced the best Bama team and the best Clemson team. You put any other team there, you put Ohio State in our position, they're getting smacked too. I guarantee you, they're getting smacked by Bama and Clemson. That you use that against them. Okay, so just quit calling Notre Dame overrated because they're not. They get good recruits and they all good each year. Look at Ohio State. 3 straight years, don't make the Big Ten, don't win the Big Ten conference and lose to their rivals. And now I was saying, oh, but Ohio State beat New England last year. Okay, cool. You had one good drive that won you the game. That the defense should have stepped up. But come on, it's a two-lane. You can't call Notre Dame overrated, but look at Ohio State. They get so many good recruits and they don't do anything with them. You got Will Howard transferring from Kansas State, and y'all think you're going all the way. No, you guys need to get off your high horse and realize that they're not going to. I'm sorry, they might not even beat Michigan again this year. Michigan, they lost a bunch of people. No, not really. They lost their running back and their quarterback. J.J. McCarthy didn't even pass them. He handed it off to Donovan Edmonds. Okay? And Blake Horn. Okay? Like, come on. And I don't like Michigan. Every year when Ohio State Michigan plays, I root for Ohio State. Because I can't stand Michigan. But you cannot call Notre Dame overrated without looking at Ohio State as well and putting Ohio State on this. They're ranked top 4 every damn year. At the start of the season. Do they stay there? Yes. but they can't win big games. Them playing Oregon, that's a true test. And they play them early in the year, so we'll see how good this Ohio State team will actually. Remember what happened when Ohio State Oregon played a couple years ago? Yeah, Oregon. Not saying it's going to happen again, but that game's going to really tell the story about how well Oregon season is going to be and how well Ohio State season. And I bet you if Ohio State loses that game to Oregon, they stay top 10. And I bet you if Ohio State loses again to Michigan, 2 losses, I bet you they're still in for the college football playoffs now that it's 12 teams. Because the playoff committee loves Ohio State. Like looking at it, it doesn't make sense to me. But I guarantee you, if Ohio State has 2 losses, does not make the Big Ten again this year, I bet you they still make that 12 team playoff. I bet you they do. They're going to leave out a good team. Like, let's say Ole Miss does good this year. Only 1 loss. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be Ohio State over Ole Miss in the playoffs. And you just snub Ole Miss out of that. So, call Notre Dame over all units. Okay? I don't think it is. I don't think they are. Of course, I'm going to be biased. But still, you can make an argument that Ohio State's over, just as over. You know. But I rest my case. Notre Dame is not overrated. Notre Dame's actually going to be pretty well this year because of the people we got. We just got Riley Leonard, transferred from Duke. He was a dog at Duke. Won Duke a lot of games. Our secondary is going to be outstanding. Defense is going to be outstanding. Always is. Our backfield, Julian Love. We're going to be fine. You know, Notre Dame, this is probably Notre Dame's best shot since that 2013-2014 BCS against Alabama smacked with Manti Te'o. This is probably their best chance since that. Now, but you can say, oh, what about the times that Notre Dame, the 2 years Notre Dame won up against Bama and Clemson? No. Those teams were good. Don't get me wrong. Ian Book was good. All that. Those teams were good. They're not going to be as good as this team. But yeah. So anyway, Georgia, Clemson, already mentioned. I see this as a win for Georgia. I'm marking it as a win for Georgia. Clemson's not that good, if we're being honest. We saw it last year. I don't think. And it's in Atlanta, Georgia. I know it's supposed to be a neutral site, but there will be a lot of red, not a whole lot of orange. So I think Georgia will beat Clemson. Yeah, I could be wrong, though. And then another notable game, we have number 8 Penn State versus unranked West Virginia. I put this as a notable game because this game usually is good every year. Excuse me. West Virginia had a couple good wins at the end of their season last year, and I really think they could be something special this year. They're playing Penn State. Penn State's one of those other teams that they put them top 10. They don't finish top 10. They're lucky to finish top 15. You can put them up with Notre Dame for being overrated. Maybe it'll change this year, maybe it won't. But I think it's going to be a close game in West Virginia, 12 o'clock game. I think it's going to be Penn State that pulls that game. So, yeah. And then another game, number 7 Notre Dame versus number 20 Texas A&M. I wish I could say I'm very confident in this game for Notre Dame, but it's a night game in Texas. Start of the year, we already had one upset. I don't know. I think Notre Dame can pull this off. I would like to say it won't be close, but I think it will be somewhat close just because it's a night game and it's on the road. If this was a South Bend game, night game, I'm chalking it up as a tough for Notre Dame. But given the fact that they got to go down to Texas A&M night game, week 1, nerves, everything like that, crowd being loud. I think it's going to be a close game, but I still got Notre Dame coming out on top. Once again, call me biased if you want. That's just how I see it. I don't think A&M will be that good this year. Once again, I don't know why they're ranked 20th. I don't think they'll be that good, but They could prove me wrong. They could smack the crap out of me. That won't happen. They said if you're an A&M fan, I'm sorry, that won't happen. But yeah, I got Notre Dame with a 2-touchdown win against A&M, maybe a 10-point, but pretty good game. And then the final big game, kind of for week 1, we got number 23 USC versus number 13 LSU. In Death Valley, pretty sure it's a night game. I don't see USC. Yeah, night game in Death Valley. I don't see USC in this game. I just don't. If I'm being honest, USC, they lost good players. They lost their best quarterback, Caleb Williams, that they've had in a long time. I just don't see them winning this. I think LSU's they got something to prove losing Jaden Daniels to their draft, having that good quarterback. But I still think USC's smacked. But yeah, so I got LSU winning that. But yeah, I'm really pumped that college football is back. And NFL, as I said, I'll do an episode. Hold on, let me see. Starts. So okay, it starts. First game is the September 5th. So I'll do an episode next week about that. Just give you my predictions, whatnot. It's gonna be a lot to unpack for that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. My prediction for this 12-team playoff, Notre Dame's obviously going to be mad. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a fan. I'm saying that because they actually will be. Ohio State will be in it somehow, some way. Georgia will be in it. I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan is in it. But, I mean, Georgia is going to be in it. Ohio State will be in it. Texas, I think, will be in it. Bama might not be in it. I do believe Notre Dame will be in it. But I mean, those are my top teams that I know for sure that will probably be in it. I'm going to throw Missouri in there as well. Missouri had a great year last year. Beat Ohio State. I'm pretty sure in the Cotton Bowl. We'll get the bowl game. So check that or whatever. But yeah, and I got Notre Dame winning it all. Call me biased, but I just think that's how we'll play it. You know, I didn't really watch the game day. I saw highlights from the game day. I know they picked it. I don't think anyone had Notre Dame making it past the first round. I don't think so. Pat McAfee didn't even have Notre Dame in the playoffs, which love Pat McAfee. Great guy. Brought a lot to college game day. Made it actually interesting to watch. I hope that's what I can do with my career in broadcasting to get fun like he does. But I mean, not having Notre Dame, his bracket was coming. If you know, the teams that he said will be in it probably won't be. But yeah, I think a lot of people either have Ohio State or Georgia winning it all. There was one guy, former WWE, Sheamus, I believe, true Irishman, had Notre Dame winning it all. Could not agree more with him. Once again, went to the comment section after that. Who's this guy? He doesn't know what he's talking about. Why is he picking Notre Dame? Notre Dame overrated. All this talk that I've already mentioned. But I don't see Notre Dame not making it this year. If I'm being honest, anything can happen. Low key, kind of think Notre Dame could go undefeated this year. I mean, just looking at their schedule, like as I said, they got Texas A&M. Is a game I'm somewhat worried about, but then we're home against Northern Illinois, at Purdue, Miami, Louisville, Miami, Ohio, Louisville, Stanford is going to be tough. Georgia Tech might be an interesting game after after their performance yesterday. Navy's going to be a win. I'm going to chalk Florida State up as a dub. Night game in South Bend in November. That's going to be a hell of an environment for Florida State. Virginia will most likely be a win. Army will probably be a win. And I think USC will be. Crazier things have happened. We could have a really terrible year. Not going to happen, though, but I think that Notre Dame has the best chance, I think, to go undefeated. Call me biased. Oh, that's not going to happen. That won't. Okay. I wish I could say I would care about you guys' opinions. I don't. Maybe that's wrong of me for saying that, but I don't know. I don't really because I know everyone's just going to say that they're overrated for how they've performed the last couple of years and how they always rank so high, but I don't know. Your opinion's your opinion. You're entitled to one. I have my opinion throughout this episode, but I think Notre Dame has the best shot at going undefeated and winning it all this year. As I said, this is probably our best shot since that Manti Te'o team to win it all. And that Manti Te'o team should have won. But once again, we got Bama's best look with A.J. McCarron at quarterback. Come on. That guy was a dog in college. He did not pan out that well in the league, but bro was a dog at Bama. And that's what I kind of wish people would know, that Notre Dame has been given the best team in the college football. Oh, maybe don't be ranked 4. You won't have to face the number 1 team. Okay, but any other team that plays that Clemson or Bama team, they don't. I guarantee you that they don't, because those were 2 good teams. But yeah, I rest my case. Gonna be a good year. Pump that college football's finally back. Pump that football's back in general. Just can't wait for the season to kick off. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. We'll see you later on Sports Speak.